Mayor. Mine is with respect to correspondence item 5.4, which is from Hamilton chapters of ACORN respecting a request to the Chief Coroner for Ontario to begin recording and tracking heat-related deaths. I would wish consideration of my colleagues to endorse this. And if I could, through you, I have a question to staff, if there is anyone here who might be able to speak to this today.
Okay. Let me just guess that it might be Angela Burden, and they're conferring.
Angie Burden, General Manager of Healthy and Safe Communities. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the councillor. I'm sorry I missed the question. Can you kindly repeat?
No problem. Through the Mayor to GM Burden. This is a letter from 4 local chapters from ACORN Hamilton, and it is requesting that the Coroner of Ontario start tracking heat-related deaths. And I should have given you a heads up in advance. I apologize. I was going to ask through the Mayor to you if you knew of any provinces now that do track it. I know there was a coroner's inquest in British Columbia last year as a consequence of the heat dome. Whether you wish to comment on this item. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Angela?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Wilson. We did check with Dr. Richardson. We currently in Hamilton do not track heat-related deaths, and we're happy to take that back for further information on that. But something not currently something that we do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to see this body endorse this local piece of correspondence. This is a reality facing some of our most vulnerable residents in Hamilton who are living in conditions where they do not have access to air conditioning, and sometimes their shelter in terms of ventilation is questionable. We know that when you track temperatures, not only in Hamilton, but in Canada and in North America, we're seeing a steady rise. And we know that this presents a clear and present danger now and certainly into the future for residents in Hamilton. We know that there is legislation, I believe, which governs heat access in the winter, but it is silent on the availability of a certain a level of coolness and what is the responsibility of the property owner in that regard. And I think once we start accumulating evidence of heat-related deaths, it will become apparent that this is a public health issue that we need information on. So that is my wish today. Thank you,
okay,
sir.
Thank you. Is there any objection to having this endorsed? Okay, I see no objection. So Councillor Nan on this item as well.
Thank you, through you, Mayor, and appreciation for bringing this correspondence up, more from receiving and perhaps some action here. Colleagues, you'll notice in the Emergency Community Services report, there was a Seniors Advisory Committee citizen report that also spoke to requesting the City of Hamilton to advocate to the Government of Ontario to change the building code to make heating and cooling units and electrification mandatory in all new buildings and retrofit housing. And these issues are absolutely intertwined. And so perhaps the endorsement or the direction here could be to receive and also to direct staff to prepare that correspondence as outlined.
Okay, so the recommendation I have is to endorse. I would imagine that if we want to go further than that, then maybe we should also endorse and then refer the matter to committee, and they can further follow up on any additional information that might be of value. Angela?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, Dr. Richardson is online to speak to this item.
Okay. Good morning. Welcome, Dr. Richardson.
Good morning, everybody. Just wanted to make one comment in relation to Councillor Wilson's question earlier, and we do know that BC has been tracking heat-related deaths at least the last 2 years. I'm not sure, Councillor, how long exactly they have been doing that. We are having an update from them on this issue at our urban public health meeting that's coming up in a couple of weeks. And so I think when we come back, we'll have more to share around those issues. On the issue of, overall heat-related deaths, this is in our climate change action plan in terms of items that we're looking at. And so very much would welcome moving forward, additional support around this issue and advocacy to others as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So can we make it endorsed and referred to the Community Services, Emergent Community Services Committee for follow-up? Councillor Nan, good with that?
I just wonder if it should go back to committee, or if it, given the direction, the fact that it's in our climate action plan as well, if staff could just take charge of it.
So what committee, so public health is no longer tracking that one, or are we? Dr. Elizabeth, are we following through on the climate change action plan, or is that through community services?
I see.
Mr. Mayor, it's, I believe the issues that are in the climate action plan, it's been indicated which area would be following up on that. This is an area that both public health services and the broader areas within healthy communities would be following up on. So just, I'll turn to Angie just to ask, because I'm not remembering exactly whether we're bringing those back to the individual subcommittees to which we report, or if we're bringing that back through GIC. So Angie, do you recall?
Thank you.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. My understanding is that this would be part of the reporting that would come through the climate action change plan through GIC.
Okay, so we can then refer it to that process? Yes? Okay. All right, we have a motion then to alter that. We can ask staff to make the adjustment unless there's an objection. Not seeing an objection, thank you. Councillor Pearson, other matter?
Mr. Mayor, no, on this, it's not an objection, but I'm going to, as abundance of caution, because this is ACORN that deals with rental housing, I will declare a conflict.
Okay, then we will ask for a separate vote on that after we've heard from Councillors Jackson and Danko. Councillor Jackson, same item or different item?
Mr. Mayor, I wanted to speak when we get to ECS, the item 1 from the Seniors Advisory Committee, to provide some greater detail, because I believe there is additional measures that we can do in our bylaw, which we did a few years ago. So I'll reserve my comments further for the ECS agenda today. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Danko? 513, so let's finish off 5.4, so a separate vote then is required on 5.4 with a declaration of conflict. So if we could turn that vote on. And it's to be endorsed and referred to General Issues Committee and the Climate Change Review. And those that need to do a thumbs up would be Councillor Partridge, Councillor Powers. I know. We'll just wait for the screen to pop up. Here, hang in there. I kind of jumped ahead of the electronic vote, but there it is. And time's up. You always put your thumb up anyway. You vote electronically and then give us the big screen thumb. And that's carried